I think risk taking is really about, like you said, yeah, being comfortable and just it's about being authentic, but in a way you don't have to work for it. That's kind of thing. I think most of the time we're working really hard to come across a certain way, say the right thing, and the risk taking is actually just being with our breath. Because when we're with our breath, we feel safe in our body. And when we feel safe in our body, the language we use tends to resonate more with how we are in that moment than what we're trying to achieve in the next moment. So I think the risk taking is really, can you, in this time, like in the time of a 2 hour workshop, can you give yourself that space to let yourself breathe, to let your nervous system relax, and without even realizing it, the things you do and the words you say, the actions you take, those are going to be brave. Those will, in a different context outside of this safe container, that would feel like risk taking. But in the safe container, you're going to relax. You're going to be with your breath. And it's this opportunity to feel very natural in just launching your voice and acting authentically without feeling like you have to catch up to anything. So I think the risk taking is, at this moment, is taking a risk to allow yourself to have a couple hours to not have to worry about how to be brave or take a risk, because it will be a very natural thing that occurs. Um, I, you know, this just came to mind. Um, it almost reminds me of the idea of miracles, and people are always looking for miracles, and they're looking for these miracles to manifest, finding miracles, and miracles are happening all the time. But I think in that same regard, we're looking for the achievement. We're looking for the 1 + 1 = this. We're so distracted at the next thing that, for example, when we are breathing and we're with our breath and we feel safe in our body, the same way that we act brave by just speaking our own voice and being discerning without over analyzing, when we're walking, let's say we're walking in nature and we're with our breath, do we not see miracles everywhere? You know, it's really about that innate bravery and that innate courage that can really just be found with the breath and giving yourself time to just sit with your breath. And when you're safe, when you feel that safety, when you're with your breath, it's amazing how a a calming nervous system will free you and open you up energetically and um open you up to the present experience that is unfolding,
Mm. Mm.
you know. Yeah.
It's like when you're in the now moment, then you're not thinking about outside of yourself. You're just in yourself, in your body, having the experience that you're having. And
Yeah.
it's funny because we were talking about this before, about being the witness to yourself. So you're looking outside of yourself and being self-conscious.
Right.
Whereas if you're just in it, having that experience, breathing, doing, you kind of just you're in the moment, you're in the now, and there is no opportunity to judge or even witness.
Right.
It's just being, and that's
And I
what.
would say that the beauty is that even though we can probably identify how most of the world around us wants to be very defined in this very dense, rigid definition of what's next and what we have to do, I think, speaking for myself, and I'm going to say just the vibration of all the beautiful people that come together in this workshop, we all want the same thing. We want to have relaxed nervous systems. We don't want to feel like we're holding our breath. And you just want to have a positive experience that engages us in such a deep way, but feels effortless because we're not distracted by all the other BS that we don't really want to be chasing anyway.
Mhm.
So we're all on the same page. No one needs convincing. We're all just going to get there because our body's going to say, this feels good.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels good. Yeah. The
Yeah.
supportive container for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I had tingles when every time you would, like just take a breath. It's like, oh yeah, that does feel good. That process of focusing, like choosing to focus on your breath means that you are, reducing your focus down to the one thing, and then letting go of all of the other things, letting go of the thoughts, letting go of whatever chaos has happened, in your life right before you sit down to in this space that you've created for yourself. What I always find, for me, is that the creative workshops are a completely unique experience for every individual. And so I always like to say, to sit with whatever comes up for you. You might find yourself feeling excited. You might find yourself feeling frustrated or challenged by different steps in the workshop, or parts of the workshop, or so whatever comes up for you, maybe grab a notepad and pen and write it down, or just sit with it. Don't I think a lot of the part for me, a lot of that creative process is actually just sitting with what comes up and exploring it, rather than trying to escape it and just putting it away. And, well, I'm not going to do it because this is not feeling right. It's, well, why isn't this feeling right? So I think, for me, it's, the process is unique for everyone. Some people, you'll experience a whole different range of emotions within the group. For individuals, or even as an individual, you might experience a whole different range of emotions. So just allowing yourself to feel whatever comes up. And that's why we have this, created this safe space to share it as well, and to share with, each of the facilitators, this is what's coming up for me, and getting that support to to get through your creative blocks and things.
Yeah, that's great. And also sometimes we can have the feeling, and maybe it's not even ours. Maybe there's a thought that is somebody else's words that is kind of there in our head. So when we're creating something, that voice might come in. So just allowing that to flow through and not attaching to it, maybe recognizing it, but not attaching to it. Because sometimes when we just feel something, you can let that emotion go through. It can just be, and it moves. Everything moves. Energy just moves. It's when we stop and grab it and create a story around it, and create judgment around it, and create drama around it, that it can stay and it becomes bigger than what it was originally. So just allowing, when things come up, share it, like Simone just said, and also acknowledging it, just letting it be.
I think there's just naturally going to be a lot of opportunities where things will arise, and we're going to be transmuting them individually and as a group, and we're going to be activating them individually and as a group. And that's all lovely. And again, it's the beautiful thing of having this very, very safe space where, yes, we're all individual, different people, but a lot of our intentions are going to be very similar in leaning towards our bodies crave more peacefulness. Our bodies crave not to be speeding all the time. Our bodies crave to slow down, because the thing sometimes we lock onto, all we want to do is transmute a negative feeling or activate more positivity. And that means actually taking a little slower approach.
Yeah, slowing down the breath. Yeah, that's
It's
beautiful.
okay. You know,
Mm. I think a lot of us also want to just express and be creative without judgment and without any reason other than to create, just to play and be free and liberate that part of you that we contain and keep with all the shoulds and have tos and needs to in life. This part of us is often the last one to get any attention, and the last part of like the me, what do I want? What do I want to express? And what do I want to say? And what do I want to play with? All of that part of us, this is the opportunity to really dive into that rather than all the stories and all the, it'll come up and it'll move, but the focus is on the intention, is on that, like Sarah was talking about, the calmer nervous system and the letting yourself be, just breathe and create and be expressive, in whatever way that finds itself in that moment.
and I do want to say, just building on that, for anyone that, feels like they're going through a healing journey, or they could even say their life is a healing journey, when you slow down, you accelerate healing. When you slow things down, you accelerate healing. I'm just gonna say that.
It's good. It's true.
It just made me think of this in the book The Magician's Way. There is nothing to do, only action to take.
Nice.
Inspired action.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Intuitive. Yeah, because the intuition is not heard when we're so busy and we're so loud, all the voices. And the only voice really worth hearing is that quiet, when you're quiet, when you're still, that silent voice. It's always there. Is allowed, you're allowed to, you allow yourself to hear those whispers. And it might not sound like words, but it's just that calming, soothing, everything's okay.
And a lot of times, if it's not this internal quietness that we hear, or if that feel like, I don't have time for that, I don't know how to do that, I'm not there yet. A lot of times it's just making choices, period. Make a choice. So you make another choice. Making a choice can be terrifying. You make another choice, make another choice. And what happens, that kind of voice comes through in, more inspired choices, like you said, more choices that are aligned with your higher ethics, meaning you start to build up what those are for you, and you direct yourself more of those choices and more of those choices. But sometimes it's that very external feeling of like that thought of, oh, I have to make a choice. Thought I pick this block. Oh, I don't know about that. Cool, you don't know about that. Great. What about thud this one? I don't know. Cool. You're over here now, so that's cool. Sometimes it's just to make a choice.
Make a choice, free will choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And knowing that not making a choice is making a choice.